We'll come on in and then we're hitting record
We
already.
stand behind. We stand behind it.
I just feel like whatever. It's going to be internal on my private YouTube channel. So.
Surround cam.
Surround sound.
Surround. Feel free to ask questions. All right. Let me know when you're recording.
I'm recording.
Okay. Slate. 3.
Totally thought you said Slade. yes!
Slade! All right.
Yes.
Room.
All right. This is going to be a quick overview of how to set up the tripod and the camcorder for Sunday services. Camcorder is in the spare camcorder case. That's orange here, but it'll be in a rolling case when we usually pick it up on Sundays. You know how that looks like. But we'll be using the spare camcorder for the time being. So, and we'll grab the King Joy. It says King Joy. Shout out to King Joy for this tripod bag. Sponsored by King Joy.
Send us some more.
So we have
Send us some more.
So we'll take out the tripod first. So it is a little bit of a beast, so to speak. And so before we start, on the tripod head, we're going to flip this down. And then on this side where the handle is, there's a release button. So once again, there's a release button, and it actuates the release lever. Now, looking at this, you'll see it's not rectangular, but it's kind of like hexagonal. It looks like a house, right? And on the back, hopefully you'll be able to see it, there is a lens indicator. So there is a lens indicator.
Oh, yep.
If need be, I can kind of highlight it with the paint marker. This is where the lens will go. So here is the camcorder. And as you can see in the camcorder, there's a mounting hole here, screw hole. And there's a secondary hole that will help to align it to go straight. See that? See how it neatly lines up? It's another reminder of how the lens will go. And as you can see, there's a lens. The lens.
Side.
Yep. So normally, if you have a quarter or a screw or a key, you'll tighten this so that it doesn't jiggle. As you can see, there's quite a bit of give here, even with the screw on, because it's not quite tightened all the way. I'm going to just kind of hand wave and skip that for the time being, just because we're practicing setup. Once we're done, I'm gonna put this aside for the time being, because this will happen kind of in parallel. At Marshall, we'll get the platform ready, we'll roll it out, we'll be in front of the audio station. So we'll get the stairs, we'll climb up, and tripod will be kind of like this. So first, I'm going to unscrew this just a little bit until I can move it, and I'm going to screw it back into place. If we can zoom in closer here, there are teeth here, and that will help to angle at a position where it's comfortable for you to operate. Once we've done that, this is a little bit of the tricky part. Unscrew this, and that will help to kind of like go super wide or super narrow. Before you do anything else, kind of set, and there's a tool right here, this bubble tool. So try to get the bubble aligned in the circle as much as possible. I'm not having the best of time right now. It's okay. And this is where you may need to like undo all of this. Yeah, and just kind of set it level so that you're in the bubble. So if you can get the picture of this a little bit closer. Once it's done that, we can go ahead and tighten this. And then we can start one. And then ideally we do it all the way like this so that we can get we can get a tall, like high coverage, so that we are shooting above the crowd, and we're not like we're not shooting some like
Somebody's light hands.
yeah, or somebody walking up, but so that's the idea. So, and finally, last but not least, a couple of tools that we got here. We can loosen this, and ideally, thank you. Ideally, we can also kind of like splay it out a little bit, just kind of make it more stable.
Okay.
Just watch out for the edge of the platform.
Yep, watch out for the edge of the platform.
Gotta get the tables too.
Yep, once we're done that, I'm actually gonna lower this. We don't need the stairs now. Thank you for getting the stairs, however. I'm just gonna lower one of them.
John I'm short. So shoddy.
So, okay, so once we got the tripod set up, pretend this is like super high where it is. Remember, lens goes from this way. We're gonna come here. We're gonna press this button. So that allows the plate to go in.
That's the release button that you did earlier.
Yep, this is the release button. And then we're gonna tighten this up. And,
It's this one, right?
yep, this one. So it tightens it in place. So, once we have that, we got this in place. So this is
What is
our,
this?
the camera.
Oh.
This meaning camera. And then you may have to kind of check here and there because I did wiggle things here and there. It's actually kind of like tilted this way. So just kind of be aware, just kind of keep an eye on
Double-check
this.
the level and
Double check the
readjust
level
as needed.
And if it means I need to do this. And to be honest, like if it's like angling down forward this way a little bit, I don't mind that per se. Let's try to keep things level.
Okay.
Next part, we have three things that we need to connect. First, just the power cable. It should be in the camcorder case. This end is the power, and the power port should be here on the bottom. Okay, right there. And I believe it's this side, positive side up. This side up. We'll plug it in. Once it's plugged in, it's up to the operator for the week whether or not they want to route the cable this way or not. Let's just make sure we route the cable in a way that we're not tripping ourselves over.
Or any toddlers.
Yes, or any toddlers. I'm just gonna simplify, pretend it's routed neatly. Second cable, this is optional, but I would recommend it, is the little remote. The little remote helps us to zoom in and out without having to reach
Noise.
like here or use like, this is the focusing ring, but we usually primarily use it for zoom. So it should be in something like this. We're going to remove the little retaining screws.
Is it?
I'm going to remove retaining screws.
Somewhere.
Remove the retaining bracket.
Where does it go?
It goes right on the bottom. And then I actually recommend putting it in this position because it's not going to get caught here. It's not going to zoom in and on you automatically and you're not fighting this, but right here. So I'm going to
Right on the edge.
right on the edge. So the lever is free to travel as it sees fit. And then
That lever.
Free to leave.
we're going to screw it in as much as you are able to. The idea is just kind of hold it in place. And then you can loosen this up, kind of back this like this, or you can just kind of like rotate it in place. Yeah, once again, I leave it to you to wind the cable or not. It's going to go into the remote port.
Sweet. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to pop it up,
On it?
Yeah.
pop it in.
Tap on it.
Okay, the lens cap is removed. This part is totally optional. I should have plugged in the battery when I did it, but you can plug in the battery, you do not have to.
Because power.
Power, exactly. Last but not least, we're going to locate the HDMI switcher case. Inside the HDMI switcher case, you will locate the 50-foot HDMI cable. 50 foot. We have a 50-footer and a 100-footer. 350. 350. So, one thing you'll notice, most HDMI cables, you can plug in one end or the other. It's gonna work no matter what. This is not the case with this cable. This is HDMI over fiber, so it uses like fiber optic lights, so it is directional. So, if you'll notice, on one it says source, but I have labeled it so that it says
Camcorder.
camcorder. So we'll plug in the label and the camcorder into the camcorder. And the HDMI, that was
HDMI?
HDMI is over here.
Oh,
So we're gonna pop that open,
right by the pow pow.
and then we are going to plug it in like so. Let's pause the video stop the video. Back on the jump cut. And then you'll see on the other end, hopefully we'll be able to see a destination or, display. This is what we're gonna plug in to input 3 of our A10 video switcher. Not 1, not 2, but 3. There's a highly technical reason, but we won't get into that.
Just remember the Trinity.
3. Remember, switcher HDMI 3 goes in here. And then you are done with the video. And then once we're done, open it up,
Press the power button?
and it should power on automatically.
Oh.
Good. We'll zoom out. Zoom in, you can see that. Now finally, if we can capture this right here, that means there is no SD card in. The SD card should be with the Mac switch case, the Mac case, and it'll look something like it should look something like this.
Okay.
It says SD card for recording on both sides, and we have 12 SD cards. Just pick anyone.
Face up? I mean,
Yeah, face up, face down doesn't
oh, it
really
doesn't matter? Okay.
Because these are this is like the absolute worst case. Power went out on the Mac Studio. Everything, the power went out for one reason or another. And this is just
We still
capturing.
capture it, yeah.
Yep.
So on the weekly, you don't plug in the SD cards?
I do not, I just kind of clean up the SD cards every once in a while.
Or do you want us to plug in the SD cards on the Sunday?
On a Sunday, insert the SD card this way
Yeah, for the
So
backup.
that's a yes.
as a backup.
Yeah.
And then you should see standby. How many minutes remaining? Here at 575 minutes. We're only recording at 1080p. We're not doing 4K, so we should have plenty of room across how many SD cards?
12.
12 SD cards, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2.5 terabytes worth of SD cards. That should be more than enough room to record until the end of the year and still have plenty. So at 9:45, that's when we start streaming. At 9:45, give or take, hit the record button, and you should see start recording. So we should record around 9:45 when the stream starts. That's when the pre-roll goes, like the old home church stuff gets played out, and then we see all the slides, all the stuff. And yes, Eric will fade in the music nice and gently when he's behind the board. So that's when it starts. Service starts 9:50 is the pre-service worship. John and the worship team will go up, start getting the space ready for worship. 10 o'clock is the Sunday service begins. Usually 11:30 to 11:40, that's when the service ends. And then once the pastor has done the benediction, he goes off stage. you can then start striking the camera, and it would basically be backwards. Stop recording. Once you see standby, you're safe to remove the SD card. Once it's recorded, just put it face with the contact side up, like this. Label side down. That way we know what's been used, what has not been used. And I'll just check every once in a while if it's like everything is like facing contact up like this. I'll just go and scrub the SD card just to make it easier. But like I said, this is like backup, because we'll be recording on the ATEM Extreme anyway. So we're like, and then while we're streaming, we're also recording the stream out. So we have like 1, 2, like 3 layers of safety, and that's just in case, like worst case scenario, we lose power. This thing still has power and still recording. Once you're done, and then it turns. Okay, wait for the green light to go off, and then we can start unplugging. You may or may not have noticed, I'm gonna put in the one final thing. Let's put an SD card in here for recording purposes. This. And really doesn't matter which, you may or may not have noticed you have 2 SD slots. Doesn't matter which one you use. It'll still record the same. So it doesn't matter if you put in A or B. I'm going to start recording. If you see the red light here on the recorder, on the remote, that means it's recording as well. So that's like one real easy way of it, like visually seeing, oh, it's recording. It's red light. And then during the operation, if you need to like focus, would somebody like to be a model? Eric Dengler. You're dropping the word this week.
Can you go low? Can you go low?
Go low. Drop it low.
Go low, go low. Oh, you had to bend down. We can't see. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Hey.
There we go. So if for some reason it's like it loses focus, tap on whoever you want to focus on, and it should focus automatically. Once again, like for some reason I want to like focus on Eric's awesome sweater. Tap on the sweater. The camera is smart enough to know. And then finally, if you need to like up and down the, yep. So you see that? And you see that as I talk, you see the mic indicator. The mic is located up here. My finger is, I cannot see my finger.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the mic. So it'll pick up the ambience. Finally, last but not least, this will keep the head in place. If you need to if you find yourself, you need to angle up and down. Think, yeah. Loosen it up, angle down, and then you can lock in place. And it's kind of like a feel for it. If you can kind of feel whether or not it's locked in place or not. And if you know for sure, like you're just gonna keep it a wide shot during the Sunday service and just gonna zoom in for the sermon, then you can just kind of lock it in place tight. Otherwise, I kind of recommend, but I'm just gonna hold this like right here, but not loosening such that it just goes up and down like this, unless you really want to be up in the camera position and just kind of like have a free camera look. So just kind of like, and you'll kind of feel it once you tighten it up, like it's in place or not. So that's pretty much it. To tear down, stop recording, obviously. Close it up. Put the lens cap back in place. Unplug everything. Unplug. And it doesn't really matter which unplug, whatever you unplug first. Release. Hold the camera in hand. Press the release button. Unscrew. Put the camcorder somewhere safe. Once again, with the roof side up, press the button, lock it up in place, and then you can tear down the tripod. Last but not least, we have to, of course, get the remote. Then screw it in place. Thank you. So that is it in terms of setting up the camera. Single angle, so you can like hold wide shots during worship, get tighter on announcements, go wide as needed, and then just kind of like maintain a medium to close-up angle for a sermon. And so that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, feel free to ask myself, or yeah, just feel free to ask. And then if I'm present, I should be able to answer. Otherwise, hopefully, some of us should be able to answer the questions that you have. Thank you.